Juan Guerra. I am the previous city manager for the city of Edinburg. I've been a public servant since 1996. I want to say good morning and thank you all for being here. Domestic violence is a serious local, state, and national issue. I am strongly against domestic violence. It's a serious problem that needs to stop. The false allegations by Ms. Miriam Cepeda in order to extort me for money does not help true domestic violence victims. False allegations of assault only hurt those true domestic violence victims. I respect all women in my life, my mother, my sisters, the mother of my children, as well as my 3 beautiful daughters. I first want to start by saying that I have a lot of respect for women. When I worked for FAR, we empowered and encouraged them. Several of them actually became leaders, and I'm very proud of my record of respecting and empowering women. My full statement for today's press conference is as follows. Let me begin by giving the same emphatic statement that I gave to police investigators when asked about the accusations made by Miriam Cepeda against me. I refuse to be extorted. I want everyone to know that I will not be a victim of any attempts to entrap me and extort me. I did not sexually assault nor physically assault anyone. I strongly deny all accusations made by Ms. Cepeda. I will defend myself from these allegations based on provable facts, not emotions or opinions or statements, facts. Miriam's belief is that because of my career as a public official, me not wanting to draw negative attention of any kind or could affect my career, she believed that that would allow her to extort me for money. Her extortion demands started at $120,000, plus the long list of other ridiculous items that you'll see there. That letter came from Ms. Cepeda to an attorney, and the attorney emailed it to me. Then she went down from 120 to 100,000, then from 100,000 to 60,000, then from 60,000 to 30,000, and then from 30,000 up to 37,000. The reason I'm making this public statement is to disarm her in her attempts to extort me. I did nothing wrong. I refuse to pay her any money and am ready to prove it. Ms. Cepeda and I were engaged with a wedding date of April 11. We broke off our engagement on December 15, which is a combination of events, and recorded ridiculous accusations starting in November, ranging from sexual assaults and 3 recorded attempts to get me on physical assault, all which are lies, and I can prove it with facts. Remember, keyword is facts, not opinions and emotions, facts. The following is a timeline of factual events that took place. And what I'm going to describe here, they're all backed up with audio, visual, and written recordings. I have provided all of these to the police, by the way. In mid-November, I received, the first point is, in mid-November, I received a $250,000 severance payment from the city of Edinburg. After taxes and retirement, that netted out to roughly $140,000 of cash. Since that time, she had stated several times that she should have some of that severance money. I always reiterated to her that if she wants money, she needs to get a job. Any severance money that I received was not earned by her and she's not entitled to it. And note the second point. In November, Miriam began her false accusations of physical assault against me. This her first false accusation of assault. I recorded this instance. I recorded it in audio. She stated that she needed to protect herself. I asked, what does she have to protect herself from? And she stated, from her heart. Now, this is the first instance that I noticed this behavior is due to her heart. I then began efforts to make her realize that she needed to mature and control her emotions. The lack of that self-control was making her act out in an irrational manner. Third point. On Thursday, December 12th, the dissolution of our relationship began its course. A disagreement over discussions with my ex-wife concerning Santa gifts for children was the start of this breakup. I notified Miriam that we needed time apart and that long-term our relationship probably wouldn't work. This was due to the constant breakups and tantrums and disagreements over city issues. She agreed, promptly steering the conversation to me giving her money, which I didn't. Fourth point. On Friday, December 13, Miriam and I continued our breakup of our relationship, with her stating that she will move out when she figures out her next plan of action will be. She told me that she will write a check for herself, and I quickly informed her that she did not have my permission to write a check, and then she put the purpose of the check as being for her heart. This was the second instance I noticed she justified her behavior due to her heart. She still wrote herself an $8,000 check and forged my signature, which is illegal. I will be pressing charges on that. She stated that I crushed her heart and she never felt so alone. This was a strong indication to me that she was becoming very emotionally unstable as she began to understand that our relationship was ending and I would not freely give her all the money she wanted. At night, she began to say that I raped her, making me feel the need to start recording her in order to protect myself, because no rape took place. The next day, on Saturday, December 14th, I woke up to the fact that Miriam disconnected my phone number and refused to turn it on. This made no sense to me. She had become very emotional and childish. I then contacted her aunt to try and help me because she had threatened to call the police that I raped her, which was crazy because I never did such a thing. She was becoming out of control and I wanted to separate amicably. Miriam stated that she feels empty, ugly inside, and alone. I went to Costco to buy a 10-camera home surveillance system. I needed something to record what was happening. I wanted to protect myself from any false allegations. At night, while in bed, I asked her, "Why would you accuse me of rape? That accusation is not a joke." Her response was, "Because I was playing with her heart." Once again, third instance that I noticed she's justifying her behavior due to her heart. The next day, Sunday, December 15th, Miriam started the day by fighting with me and threw my cell phone against the wall. She's done this several times and broken a phone previously. And then she threw it in the toilet. I grabbed her phone and threw it in the toilet thereafter. I then went to the living room where the camera was recording. She followed me, pushed me to the side, and threw the camera system to the floor, visually being the aggressor. She told me, "Hit me, hit me, hit me," which I didn't. And she claimed that I was disrespecting her all week, causing her to get out of control. She also falsely accused me of hitting her. This was a second false accusation of assault. But once I told her that I was recording and to behave, she stopped mentioning it. She then grabbed a pair of scissors and cut the camera's cord. Once she cut off all visual recordings, there's no more visual camera anymore, she began accusing me again of assault, which was very convenient, the fact that now there were no visual recordings. How convenient. She claimed that I pushed her, causing her to hit herself in the face. Within half a second after she said, "You pushed me," I said, "No, that didn't happen. I didn't push you," and that I am recording with audio what is taking place. The police have that audio. She called the police. Once there, she accused me of sexual and physical assault with police officers. This was a third false accusation of assault, which of course are all lies. Surprisingly, one of the police officers came out of my house, because I was outside of the house, she was inside the house. One of the officers came out of the house, and his first comments were that he felt me was trying to manipulate them. This should be recorded on their body cams. Point number 7. On Monday, December 16th, the day after this supposed incident, I had several conversations with Miriam concerning returning my cell phone number. Since she took over my cell phone since Saturday, I was forced to get a new number, and I needed my old number. She eventually gave me back my cell number, but during phone conversations, she asked me many times about my ex-wife. I told her that I will not discuss that matter with her, and then she stated, "I don't understand how much worse it's going to get for me." Once again, she asked about money so that she can pay off some credit card debts and wanted to cash the $8,000 check that she wrote, which is an illegal act. She didn't have my permission to write that check or forge my signature. I also told her to stay away from my kids. This was due to her crazy action of taking my kids' backpacks from my house the night before. She then went to my kids' school, returning the backpacks, but asking them about me and my ex-wife. That was just crazy and a little scary. Now, when she went to the school, there was no visible signs of a bruise on her face. Miriam then, during phone conversations, Miriam then asked if the $8,000 check has cleared, and I told her no, I will not pay. On Tuesday, December 17th, Miriam's brother reaches out to me via Facebook. He relays that he is disappointed with the actions of his sister. There was no need to call the police. With his message, he tells me of a conversation he had with Miriam. Here he confirms that Miriam would use the threat of rape against me, but only because she was in a bad mood because of my ex-wife. I have those screenshots of the conversation. He also relays her comments that Miriam was crazy and psycho with love, and that she feels bad for calling cops in that moment. Now, Miriam's attorney friend first made contact with me to let me know that Miriam has a list of demands in order to not press charges. This was Tuesday, two days after the event. Now, that same night, her brother sends me a screenshot of communications between Miriam and him where she types, "When I fell and hit my face." So she's admitting she fell and hit her face. On Wednesday, December 18th, I met with Miriam's attorney friend to hear Miriam's list of demands for her not to press charges. That list of demands was titled, "List of Demands to Mend Miriam's Heart." Fourth instance, I noticed that she justified her behavior due to her heart. This list was a gross attempt by Miriam to extort me. It was so unreasonable that till this day, I do not understand why she would try to extort me for money instead of pressing charges if she feels that I truly assaulted her. Miriam went to visit her attorney friend again that night, and she went down on her extortion demand from $120,000 to $100,000. In a phone call that night, the attorney told me that it was Miriam's belief that I would be willing to pay due to me being a public official and not wanting to be embarrassed. He recommended that I figure out what I would reasonably be willing to pay her for this to go away. She was heard gleefully stating that she would accept between $60,000 and $120,000. This was an extortion attempt. Now, on Saturday, December 21st, Miriam's brother sent me a message on Facebook where he correctly describes what happened. Miriam fell by herself because she was out of control and aggressively emotional. Please keep in mind that I did not tell him what happened other than I didn't assault her. Also keep in mind that he knows his sister better than most people and he knows her personality. On Sunday, December 22nd, Miriam's brother sent me a message on Facebook where he tells me that if his crazy sister presses charges, he will defend me by telling the truth that identifies Miriam as an aggressor due to his knowledge of her. He restated a conversation he had with Miriam where she tells him that she is crazy and loves me for putting up with it, to include her statement to several people that she beats up her ex-boyfriends. On Friday, December 27th, Miriam's attorney friend asked to see if I've changed my mind on not offering Miriam any money. I told him that I have contracted with an attorney and will not pay Miriam any money. I would rather pay an attorney than pay her. This just felt like extortion. I believe this leads to Miriam's phone call the next day. After all, she wants money, right? So on Saturday, December 28th, Miriam and I finally talk over the phone. Miriam has said that she is pregnant and wants me to take her to get a blood test. Now, she has claimed to be pregnant in a previous breakup we had, and she has done so with other ex-boyfriends. So this is a manipulation tactic. So I don't believe her. Since then, she's admitted she's not pregnant, but she's claimed that she probably has a miscarriage. This is, I believe, an effort to look like a victim again. I invited her to my house to see if she's willing to come. She says yes, but only if I turn off the cameras. That's a ridiculous request of hers, considering the situation. I tell her that I will not turn them off and tell her that she scares me. I think this was another setup effort. It's my opinion. Our next conversation during that call is when she reduced her extortion amount to $30,000. I believe because she was aware that I would not pay her a penny, she wanted to give me a lower number for me to consider. During the call, Miriam is wanting me to go visit her, but then she says that she's going to come to my house. Now, this shows that she's not afraid to be alone with me, making the picture she tried to paint of me being a mean aggressor nothing but a lie. I still did not trust her. I still did not trust to be alone with her, so I called her brother, and he told me not to trust her. Do not let her go over to my house. So then I ended up texting her to not come to my house. On Thursday, January 2nd, 2020, Miriam contacted through Facebook Messenger 2 of my cousins in San Antonio and told them that I hit her and went back with my ex-wife. So now the story of hers has evolved from the claim that I pushed her to me hitting her. Those are not the same. On Friday, January 3rd, 2020, Miriam, her brother, and I are messaging through a group text. In the communication, Miriam was confronted about the evolution of her claim that I pushed her into the new phase of me hitting her. She agrees to get back to her original claim of a push. Now, pushing someone and hitting someone is not the same. A quick indication of a lie is when the story changes. Her brother reminds Miriam about the time she used the police to threaten him and their mother over their mother's attempt to get Miriam to stop using drugs, and how wrong it is to use police in that manner. She uses the police as a tool to get her way rather than for the police to serve the community. Remember, during December 15 incident, one of the officers came out of my house and said he felt Miriam tried to manipulate them. Now, there's more to this unbelievable story, but I think this information is enough to clarify the situation based on facts and proof, not an emotional and manipulative type of statement. Remember, if someone uses emotions and not proof that something happened, there's a very good chance that it didn't happen. Miriam's claims she had a bruise on her cheek and will or has produced photos of a bruise on her cheek. I'm not saying that she did or didn't have one. What I'm saying is I didn't cause it. Also, who gets an attorney after an incident? Why not just press charges? Unless there is a planned event to try and entrap someone and extort money at the end of a relationship. Now, please note that I have taken away Miriam's perceived leverage to get money out of me with this statement. She might press charges for false accusations for the false accusation of assault. It does not mean I'm guilty of it. I will now look into ways where I can press charges on her for using the police as a tool to manipulate situations in order to extort money from an innocent person. There should be consequences for outrageous conduct. I completely deny all of her false allegations. I will not be extorted. I continue to cooperate with the police and have faith in the justice system. But should the situation end up in court, I will defend myself rigorously from the false accusations. Now, this was emailed and sent to the Advance News on Sunday. I know the Monitor came out with the article on Monday, but this was done on Sunday to disarm this perceived leverage of ability to get money out of me. So now we're on, since it came out on Monday from the Monitor, I wanted to do a press conference to let everyone know at the same time what's going on. So let me get some water, and then we'll be able to answer some of the questions. At this point, the attorney will let me know whether or not I can answer some of the questions you guys ask, okay? So give me a second. And copies of my statement will be given to you all on the way out if you guys would like. I emailed it to you this morning. Except for that first intro.
Okay.
I emailed you as well the crazy extortion, initial extortion list. It's a ridiculous one.
So these are pages 1, 2, and 3 that just printed out that way.
Okay, so does anyone have any questions?
That $8,000 check, was it ever cashed, or did she just write it out and never cashed it?
That's a good question. I got to check with my bank of whether or not she's tried to cash it, because I have a bank account strictly for checks and I have to put money in there. So I don't know if it's cashed. Either way, it's a forgery of $8,000. So it's a big crime. It's illegal. Now I'll check with my bank to see if she tried cashing it. If you notice in the statement, and I got phone calls that I recorded. So that's where she said about, has it cleared yet? So I'm assuming she's trying to cash it. I'm assuming, but what I do know for a fact is she forged an $8,000 check with my forged signature. Yes, Greg.
Where did excuse me? Where did the figure 8,000 come from? Because it seems like an odd figure, right? People usually 5, 10, 15, but not 8.
I know. I agree with you. I had given her a $5,000 check to pay bills on November 23rd, so that's why this $8,000 check. I said, stop. What am I paying for? Whatever I'm paying for, itemize it. Remember, I'm a CPA, so to me that's itemize it. What am I paying for? And she just refused to do it. So I don't know why 8, what it's for. I don't know. I do know it's 8,000.
Has she signed your checks before these $8,000?
She has, with my permission.
Oh, with your permission.
Yes. But on this one, it's through a text message. I clearly tell her, you do not have my permission to write that check.
When we spoke, she intimated that there was some money owed to her. Do you owe her any money?
I don't know. This is where I say itemize it. I just gave her a $5,000 check November 23rd. If I owe you money, fine. I have zero issues paying anybody if I owe them money. I'm not going to be taken for a sucker, right? Like, I'm not a piggy bank. Itemize it. And that's something she has refused to do. For whatever reason. Like, it doesn't make sense to me either. Because it's a reasonable request, right? Like, itemize what you want me to pay for.
Why did you allow her the 5,000?
We were planning on getting married. There were some bills that were accumulating to prepare for a wedding. So the thing is, I asked her, okay, give me a second. I talked a lot, right? Give me a second. Okay, so there was some bills to pay. I gave her a $5,000 check, and it's for bills, is what I put it for bills. And when she asked for more money, I was like, okay, but what did my $5,000 check pay for? At this point, now I was wondering, what is the money going to? And it was just, we're living together, we're in love, and she needs some money, and I know there were bills accumulating, so I gave her some money. But once you ask again, I'm like, okay, for what? Does that make sense?
Her attorney, can you give us his name?
No.
Okay. And
If you notice, I blacked out some of the names here. It's just some things are, no one else should be included in this. Should be just Miriam Cepeda and Juan Guerra. I know in the advanced news she starts trying to bring other people into it. There's no need. No one else is involved. It's me and her.
Except, of course, the participation of your brother and your
Her brother. Yes. Oh, and by the way, yesterday I spoke with her sister, and even the sister's telling me some things, but I'm going to use that in court should we have to. I'm telling you, this is a crazy situation.
Before we get into that, she intimated to me too that during her employment with you at the city, that you had quote unquote come on to her, and that the relationship started during employment.
Okay, I'm going to dispute that. And the whole situation is she's already signed documents saying there was nothing wrong. But at the same time, let's stay, if you notice what she's doing, she's trying to gear the conversation to something that is irrelevant to the false accusations of assault and to the things that she's been doing, and the fact that I got audio, visual, and written recordings of things that she's been doing.
Have you released any of those audio and video?
The police have it.
The police have it.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you be willing to release it to us?
No.
Because at a certain point, if it gets to, if it's for whatever reason, if it gets to court, then I feel strong, and there will be no conviction here. She lacks credibility on just about any accusation she's had. But I'm going to defend myself because as a public official, I refuse to be a victim of someone trying to ruin my reputation. It's important. It's important. It's not easy to come out here and tell people my story and stuff. I know it's a little bit of drama. It's not easy, but at the same time, I will not be a victim.
Speaking of police, what action do you hope that they take?
We've been in touch with the police. We've been communicating with the police, and it's our understanding that sometime later today, we expect that Mr. Guerra is going to be arrested. They've been in contact with us, and we know there's a warrant for his arrest. And we're probably going to take care of that after this conference.
Yes.
We have faith in the system. For whatever reason, the police decided with what they see or what they have and what they want to, at this time, believe, is in any case, they can seek a warrant and say that they have probable cause. It's another thing to prove it in court. So we do have faith in the system. We're going to work with the police. We're continuing to work with the police. And we're going to defend the case.
Yes. So even though you presented them with all that information, they don't seem to want to listen to that.
Here's my point on this.
I don't want to talk about anything bad about the police. They're doing their job, however they see it.
Yes.
Good or bad. This is between a false accusation and the defendant who clearly says he didn't do this.
And that's proof.
And so the police are doing their job, trying to figure out what to do. And so I don't know why or what they're basing it on, but we do know that he will be charged with assault.
Now, keep in mind, I wrote this on Sunday and emailed it on Sunday.
We'll let you know when it happens.
And this event happened December 15th. So Miriam Cepeda did not press charges for all this time because she was dangling the hey, I'm going to press charges if you don't pay me, So the reason I did this is I wanted to remove any leverage she had of trying to extort me. So that's what happened, and guess what? Now she's pressed charges because she knows I ain't paying a penny. Now she's pressed charges, and the police are doing their job. It's in court where I have no issue in stating confidently I will be vindicated.
Are you expecting for them to come and arrest you, or you will go and
I'll go to Edinburg.
Yeah, we've arranged for him to surrender. We just need to wrap this up, and we're going to start working on
Now,
that.
keep in mind, just because someone gets arrested, it doesn't mean they're guilty of it. It just means the court system is now going to handle and iron things out.
So it's my understanding that this is coming at an unfortunate time for you. You know, obviously you just parted ways with the city of Edinburg, but I have heard through the grapevine that you are up for a job in Laredo and perhaps have applied for Edinburg and FAR as well.
There is no denying that there's very few city managers better than me when it comes to credentials and experience and ability to produce results. So the fact that I applied in Edinburg, good luck getting a better city manager. I did apply in available city manager positions in FAR and Laredo and other cities. I am a professional. I don't get jobs because of compadrismo and because of favors. I get jobs because I earned them. Look at my credentials and look at the results I've produced in every place I've gone to. So yes, I've applied in several areas. Yes.
Can I ask your turn, Mr. Moreno? Because Juan's tenure with the city of Edinburgh, there was some, let's say, political ramifications, if you were. Would you prefer that the Edinburgh PD had handed it off to the Sheriff's Department, and was that an option for them since they had jurisdiction, since Mr. Guerra lives in Edinburgh? Without understanding, you're not saying anything negative about the Edinburgh PD.
Well, look, I think there's been enough stuff in the media about Edinburgh and politics, and we don't want to contribute to that. Correct. Mr. Guerra and I both have confidence in the Edinburgh Police Department's ability to handle this investigation, and whoever handles it is going to handle it. We have investigators in every case who sees the case the way they want to see it. A prosecutor might have a different perspective. A jury will have a different perspective. But for whatever reason, they've decided to seek a warrant, and we're going to comply. But doesn't mean we don't, still have faith in the system. So I don't want to comment or think that we believe this is based on politics. We're not going down that road.
Because after the arrest, he goes to the DA's office, correct?
Yes, we
and the DA is going to see the statement with the proof behind it, and it just comes down to, is this a credible issue?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but even if a victim does not want to press charges at the time of an assault, the state still has the authority to pick up those charges and could have charged you anyway without her approval.
Well, I'll answer the question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a police officer can seek an arrest warrant even if the victim, alleged victim, or complaining witness doesn't want to press charges. That sometimes happens, but in either way, the officer has to base his warrant or his seeking a warrant on probable cause. So that's the issue. What is he basing it on? We don't know at this time. Is he just taking it on her word? Are they disregarding what's been presented? We don't know. Those are questions that we'll address later. But yes, to answer your question, yes, the state can pick it up if they want to, although we believe that there's probably a cooperating witness, giving them information. Although we also understand that perhaps that maybe it wasn't until this week that they were able to get her to talk to them, to make a file a complaint.
Now let me explain why on Sunday I decided to release stuff to the advanced news. Is the day before on Saturday, I had a phone call with, and I don't have this recorded. That's why it's not in my points. On Saturday, I had a phone call with Miss Miriam, and she tells me that perhaps she did it on purpose, but I still need to go speak to her attorney on Monday to talk about settlement amount. So that's why on Sunday I said, you know what, this is getting too crazy. I'm going to remove the leverage. That's what happened. But I don't have that one recorded. That's why it's not on here.
So all of those instances that you talked about in that statement have audio or video footprint.
And what I've done is on the audio, what I've done is I've dictated it with the timestamp and what was said, and provided that to the police department. So just to help them decipher the wording. Just trying to help out the situation. Once again, I'm a cooperating witness. It's an unbelievable story.
Are these recordings over the phone? Are they in person?
Both.
On video?
There's one video recording, and that's the video recording of the incident that shows her, excuse me, that shows her being the aggressor. What happens is we leave the bathroom, and because I tell her things are getting out of control. I go to the living room with my hands up in front of the camera, saying this one's getting crazy, and she visually pushes me, and she's seen pushing and throwing the camera system to the floor. So that's what's visually recorded. Because remember, she then got a pair of scissors and cut off all visual recordings, and I had bought that camera system the day before, so there's not much visual recordings outside of that.
And when was that though?
December 15, 2019.
You started dealing with Miriam, which day more or less, and which was the last day?
I don't think we want to get those.
Yeah. Okay.
You mentioned, I think, in your statement that you were having problems because of city issues. Is that? Did I just mishear
City
that?
issues?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Silly.
Silly. Sorry.
Got it.
Silly issues.
Wanted to
Yes.
just double check that. Okay.
Yes. She just loved to fight.
A couple more questions I want
Sí,
to...
podemos en español algo breve, ¿no? ¿Cuál es el mensaje que se le quiere a la comunidad, no? No sé, el abogado. El mensaje para aclarar esta situación, ¿no? Que se ha confundido.
How do you say that in Spanish? Extortion. I don't know.
Extorsionar.
Extorsionar.
Sí, el señor Guerra aquí declara que nunca hizo ningún delito, nunca asaltó a esta señora cual está acusando. Al mismo tiempo él quiere clarificar que él es el víctima aquí, porque ella lo está extorsionando por dinero, por algo que... Lo que es extorsión básicamente es levantar un falso, ¿verdad? Con el pretexto de que, mira, si no me pagas, esto va a pasar. O mira, él me está diciendo esto, págamelo y te lo quito. Es un tipo de robo con decepción, ¿verdad? Y por estar preocupado por su imagen, ¿verdad? Como oficial público, comenzaron a lavar el coco, que, hey, pues mira, esto va a afectar, mejor págame. Y no llamamos a la policía. Y pues ahí lo tenían por un ratito hasta que pues, se prendió el foco y dijo que no te va a pagar nada. ¿Por qué? Si no hice nada.
Prefiero pagar a los abogados que la persona que me está tratando de quitar dinero. I know in the Monitor, on Monday's article, it was weird. She stated, I don't want money. This looks like she wants money. She wanted $120,000 cash, 60,000 of that in 2 days.
Gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank you all for being here.
Y estas son pruebas estas, ¿verdad?
Sí,
¿De qué se trata eso?
sí, en español, déjame explicarle. Esta es la demanda que ella la lista, ¿verdad? De lo que ella quería para que ella quitara los cargos.
Para no
hacer un reporte por la policía.
¿Cuánto estaba exigiendo la persona?
Pues es una lista ahí de cosas muy interesantes. Pueden tomar una copia y a ver si alguien te lo traduce línea por línea, pero es cantidades de... What's the total here?
Empezó con $120,000, con 60,000 de esos en 2 días.
2 días. Pero que también que le paga la cuenta de las galletitas del Girl Scouts y no sé qué tanto.
Y que le pagara su carro de casi 17, 18 mil dólares, y que le pusiera a su mamá en una casa o hotel o algo por 6 meses, y cosas que no es lógica. Que significa cuando cosas no es lógica es porque hay hay un plan.
Me comentabas que lo que quieres dar el mensaje a la comunidad es que pues tú has sido un funcionario que no has tenido ningún conflicto, ¿no?
Sí, no, eso y nomás porque alguien acusa algo no significa que ellos son culpables.
¿Tú ya presentaste pruebas?
Se los presenté todo lo que les dije hoy con pruebas a la policía. Ellos los tienen.
¿Mencionas que había videos, audio?
Sí, todo. Como quiera, lo van a arrestar, pero vamos a ver por qué. Okay, esto no termina con el arresto, todavía sigue pláticas con la fiscalía y pues si no se arregla ahí, pues en la corte se arregla.
¿Qué sucedería? What would happen if Miriam decides to pull all accusations at this point?
At this point, I don't know, but I will start pressing charges on her because there has to be consequences to this type of use of the police department for a different agenda. There has to be. People can't get away with doing this.
¿El cargo es asalto sexual?
No, asalto nomás.
Asalto nada más.
Bueno, Cuando vino la policía el 15 de diciembre, ella dijo asalto sexual y asalto físico. Y el día después ella dijo, ok, asalto sexual no, nomás antes de que te diga de los asaltos físicos, deja de hablar con mi abogado. Interesante.
And so the process, though, for the surrender to take place will begin after this. for
Yes,
you.
yes. So that's why I want to take off. I want to thank you for being here again, but that has to be the last questions. Thank you.
Thank you guys.